What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today we have another episode, or I guess another installment of the Legendary Versus series. So originally I wasn't going to make a Versus video for the Type 25, and that's mainly because I didn't have my hands on the Bloody Vengeance. I know it was available a long time ago, but yeah, I was not able to get my hands on this. So luckily, it came around in the For You section and I was able to pick it up, so now I can make the Versus video for this. And it's pretty nice to think about because not only do I have this one, but I also got the magnetic engine on the same day. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to get two legendary Type 25s in the span of a single day. So before we get into this Versus video, I hope you guys have, or at least take the time to subscribe to my channel because we are growing and we are on our way to 4,000 subscribers and we are growing pretty fast. So yeah, let's get that going. Let's keep the momentum going. So yeah, anyways, let's actually get into the history of these legendary weapons. So the legendary weapon that you are seeing currently is, of course, the Type 25 Bloody Vengeance. This is a very, very old and very, very rare skin. Well, I guess it's rare at this point because I never see anyone use this ever, and even when I'm watching live streams of ranked gameplay, I never see this skin anywhere. But I think it did come out in a Redux draw a few seasons back. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but yeah, this weapon is pretty old. I think it was it's probably over a year old at this point because this was made available around, I guess, season 7, season 8 of last year. So yeah, this thing has aged quite a bit. And we also have the magnetic engine, which is of course the Bloody Vengeance competitor. And this one just came out actually a few days ago. So yeah, we just got the skin. It's relatively new. And it's nice that it got a second one because the Type 25, at least in my opinion, is starting to become a little bit more relevant, at least to me. But of course, let's actually focus on the weapons in chronological order. So obviously, the Bloody Vengeance is going to be the first. So in terms of appearance, it is pretty phenomenal, especially for a legendary weapon. I know a lot more weapons nowadays have different types of just geometry changing stuff, but the Type 25 doesn't really have much. It doesn't change the gun like dramatically to the point where it's like unrecognizable. If anything, it has more of an animated camo than anything compared to the magnetic engine. There are also etchings that go around the gun. It's pretty nice. It makes it look a little bit elegant, but at the same time very, I guess, has like more of a dark type of feel to it. And that's obviously because this is a blood themed type of legendary. The red animations that go around this weapon is supposed to signify, you know, just blood. And I won't lie, it's a very unique design, and this was made during a time where the developers put a lot more emphasis on animated camos compared to now. In terms of the iron sight, I do have to say it does help a lot more than it does with the base one. I mean, even with the steel blue version of the Type 25, it still kind of obstructs your view, but when it comes to this one, there's not really much to like block your view from anything, so you can hit your targets a lot better if you're a person that likes using iron sights. Also, one thing to note is that this weapon specifically is not reactive, so it's just a basic legendary weapon, and honestly, it's pretty solid for a basic legendary weapon. And that's mainly because it has a good muzzle flash, it has different shooting sounds, as well as a pretty decent, but kind of like non-creative type of death effect. So yeah, the death effect isn't really that crazy now compared to what you see with the magnetic engine, but it's still pretty solid nonetheless. So now let's move on to the magnetic engine version of the Type 25. So unlike its Bloody Vengeance variant, it focuses more on detail than anything. It's not really animated when it comes to just the outside appearance of this weapon. The only time it ever becomes animated is if you actually kill someone. So yes, like I said, it's not really like too animated, but the detailing for this legendary is absolutely insane. I actually made a blueprint video for this weapon, and I did say that while it doesn't have like a lot of animated effects, all the other stuff is where this weapon shines the most. And what I mean by this is that, like, you know, the death effects, the shooting sound, all that stuff feels a lot more superior than most legendaries. and it's really nice to see a more unique type of death effect compared to like generic ones if we see someone melt or we just see them, you know, disintegrate. Also, not to mention that the iron sight is absolutely incredible. I mean, this weapon it feels like I'm like just playing with a completely different weapon. And also, I should tell you guys that this weapon also has a different reload animation. What sets this apart from the Bloody Vengeance is the fact that this one has way more detail. Also, I forgot to mention before we get to, like, you know, the pros and cons, is the fact that this one also is not reactive. So none of these legendary skins at all in any way, shape, or form are reactive. So now let's look at the pros and cons and compare these two legendaries together. So the Bloody Vengeance, of course, has a different iron sight, which is pretty cool. It's also animated all over. It has a unique muzzle flash. It also has a different shooting sound, but the downsides are that it doesn't really have a good death effect, and it's not reactive. As for the magnetic engine, it does have a pretty good iron sight as well. It also has its own reload animation. It has a much more superior death effect. It also has its own shooting noises, and it pays a lot more attention to detail. Of course, the downsides are the fact that it's not reactive as well, and it's not as animated as the Bloody Vengeance is. And also we have to keep in mind that the magnetic engine doesn't really have a muzzle flash at the moment. So yeah, that's something that the Bloody Vengeance has over this one. So I won't lie to you, this is going to be a tough one because, I mean, the Bloody Vengeance has a lot of features, but it also has some downsides, while the magnetic engine has more features, but it also has more downsides. So they're kind of like in a tie at this point, but if I were to choose, I would probably go for the magnetic engine because of just the detail and just the death effect and everything else. I know a lot of you guys will like the Bloody Vengeance more, but in my opinion, I like the magnetic one better. But let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. So anyways, that's pretty much going to conclude the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.